He tricks you into thinking that you're going to get something really good. Here's the carrot, go follow the carrot. And then you end up getting a pile of crap. So what's going on in the USA? That's what I'm talking about today. I'm Thor Sandalwood, and we're going to take a look at the United States birth chart to see what is happening underneath the surface, to see if we can interpret some of these energies that we see happening, manifesting in the news. I first started thinking about this a few weeks ago when we had the shootings in El Paso, Texas. And then 12 hours later that same day, we had the shootings in Dayton, Ohio. And then just yesterday, we had more shootings in Odessa, Texas. And I'm sitting there thinking, seriously, there's something going on, because we're manifesting this stuff as a collective consciousness. So I decided, let me find out the USA birth time. I went on, and we all know the US Declaration of Independence happened on July 4th, 1776. And I found an estimated time at around 5:10 p.m. and I used that, and I'm using this as a divination. The United States is not a person. So the karma is different than just an individual person with an individual karma and a birth chart. So when we're looking at this, we're somewhat taking a more universal view of the whole country, the collective consciousness, because we're all sharing karma as a country, as a world, and as families, and then as individuals. So I cast the chart, and the first thing I noticed was that the first house is Scorpio. And if you guys are aware, Mars rules Aries and it rules Scorpio. Aries is more of the externalized form of Mars, the go-getter, the one going out there and conquering and so forth. And then Scorpio is more of that feminine internalized Mars of going within and really digging deep within ourselves. Because Scorpio is a Brahmin sign. It's a sign where we can really go deep and do a lot of spiritual work. However, on the other side, Scorpio is also known as a sign of secrets, of hidden poisons, of things that we don't see that are going on underneath the surface. So this was really interesting because for many years now, I've been studying a lot of conspiracy theories and listening to people like David Wilcock and studying the UFO community even, and a lot of the metaphysics communities, and knowing that, hey, is this reality that we're seeing projected to us on the television? Is this what's really happening, or is this what we're just being shown and shown this is what we should believe about things? So the sign of Scorpio is a very secretive sign. And so when I look at the chart, okay, so where is the ruler of the first house? And the first lord's in the 8th house of Gemini. Again, that's another sign of secrets, revolution, and all types of crazy obsessions. It also can be the sign of rebirth. So really what I want to look at is see if we can understand what's happening right now, and maybe even go back to kind of get an understanding of what kind of energies were happening in the last 20 years. So one of the pivotal events that I really want to look at is what was happening on September 11th, 2001, because that might give us information about what energies were at play in the United States chart at that time. So I'm going to go back to September 11th, 2001. And so at that time, the United States was running Moon Mahadasha, and Moon is in the 4th house. It's in an enemy sign of Aquarius. Moon in the 4th, I wouldn't think of that as a very negative placement. It's actually both the Karaka for mother. So the Mahadasha, the overall Mahadasha of Moon doesn't seem to be a totally negative Mahadasha for the United States. It's a time of home, tradition, folkways, those kind of things that are signified by the 4th house. It is the rule of the 9th house, so it's a time of we're trying to find our ways, we're trying to find our dharma. Mercury's there with Rahu. That makes it a lot more dicey because Rahu and Mercury in the moon sign of Cancer are both being activated. So Rahu with Mercury. Mercury is the planet of communications, of things being sent out. I'd almost say, propaganda in a way. Rahu is like the demon who's going out there and distorting everything for his own advantage. Okay, so I'm looking at that, but then I notice we're in Moon Mahadasha Rahu Bhukti they entered it June 21st, 2001, and by September 11th, 2001, we were in Moon Rahu. So that Rahu energy, I mean, think about what happened September 11th. That was the whole game changer. That changed everything for the last 20 years. It affected everything the United States, the country, has done. We've been focused on these terrorists out in the world. We all of a sudden got involved in these wars in Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria, Libya. We were involved. So it took us out into foreign countries, which Rahu is the karaka of things that are foreign. So Rahu there with Mercury makes me think that we weren't told everything, exactly the truth of everything that happened around that time. The official story, there definitely is going to be stretches of truth in that official story. There's things that we don't know. Because look at this, because Rahu's with Mercury. So Rahu's taking on the characteristics of Mercury, which it's conjunct in the sign of Cancer. What does Mercury rule? Mercury rules the 8th house, secrets, and it rules the 11th house, and Saturn's there. So there's a lot of this secretive energy, these things we don't know that are happening around us. So then I want to flash forward a little more, say, okay, because I'm trying to understand the whole nature of the country. Like, why are we in this state right now where people are deciding to go out and just break down and have these shootings and everywhere, these mass shootings? It's very, very disturbing that the country's down this path right now. Let's see what happened later on when Barack Obama was elected in November of 2008. I want to see if we can try to understand some of the karma that was running there. Okay, when Barack Obama got elected, the country was in Moon Mahadasha Venus Bhukti. Venus is the karaka of things, it can be money, it could be beauty, it could be romance. But we got to think about it as we're talking about a country here. We're not talking about an individual. Now, I could say that, Barack Obama somewhat romanced the country in his message of hope and change and so forth. And around that time, you see Venus is in the 8th house there. And that was around the time that we had the Great Recession. 8th house has to deal with things being destroyed. There's a new rebirth. And really what we had around the country at that time, there was a rebirth. And we saw that the economy started to expand again after they put in their measures with the banks and did the TARP program and did the monetary easing and all those policies. And we saw that, now they've said for the last 10 years, we've been in the greatest economic expansion that the country has seen. But there's been something inside of me that really is looking at this saying like, it just doesn't feel that way. The home prices, the asset prices really go through the roof. They're saying that we're at 2 to 3% employment. And I'm thinking, I don't know if this is an actual accurate picture of what's really happening in the country. And if you guys read Howard Zinn's book, A People's History of the United States, you realize that the story of the everyman, the average person in the U.S. is really glossed over in history texts. So when they say there's a big economic expansion and the stock market is rising up really high, it doesn't mean that it's actually benefiting everybody in the whole country. And we're seeing more and more that the top 1% to 5% of income of people that have the most wealth, their wealth has almost doubled since 2008, whereas people at the bottom half, they've been trying to catch up since what they lost in 2008. So there's a big wealth disparity there that we're seeing. Obviously, the next big thing was what was going on with Donald Trump when we elected Donald Trump. And what I found so interesting is I keep seeing Rahu involved with a lot of these things in the last 20 years. Rahu keeps being involved. And Rahu to me is a time of confusion, a time where we're going to get tricked, a time where we might follow people that are leading us in the wrong direction. Rahu is the trickster god. He tricks you into thinking that you're going to get something really good. Here's the carrot, go follow the carrot. And then you end up getting a pile of crap when you find out later on, when you wisen up to basically the scam that's going on. So the country entered Rahu Mahadasha in August of 2016. And that's a really big moment there, because it entered a whole new Rahu Mahadasha. So everything's focused on Rahu, this trickster god, okay? And then only a few months later, in November, is when Donald Trump got elected. And this is all when we're running this Rahu energy, this trickster god kind of energy. And I'm not saying Donald Trump's bad or good, but it's just, if you look at the energy of this Rahu energy, it's like, there's something we don't know. There's something that's, the veil is being put over our eyes. We don't see the big picture of what's happening. And so when I hear people like David Wilcock talking about the cabal, the secretive organization behind the scenes that's pulling strings, it really makes me think this cabal really does exist, and this cabal is really pulling strings. So where are we at now? Because I want to say, okay, so we're definitely having the veil put over our eyes because we're in Rahu. We're being tricked about whatever's happening right now. Whatever we're being told about what's happening is actually not the real truth of what is actually happening right now. And I know the big thing right now is fake news. Literally, fake news could be going everywhere right now. We really don't know the real truth. The economic expansion is probably a big lie. What's really going on with the income disparity in the country is a big lie. So we're being not told a lot of the truth. Rahu is being influenced by Mercury, who's Lord of the 8th house. There's 4 planets in the 8th house. Big time propaganda, big time we're not knowing what's really going on. So let's go to now. This is September 1st, 2019 while I'm making this video, and we just had these shootings this last month. So what's going on here? We're in Rahu Mahadasha still, and we entered Jupiter Bhukti, which is the sub-period, Rahu Mahadasha, and Jupiter Bhukti, the sub-period, on April 30th, 2019. And that's when I noticed there's been an expansion. Jupiter is the karka of expansion of a lot of these feelings that have been going underneath the surface. And look at it, Jupiter's in the 8th house again. I keep seeing the 8th house again and again involved in the last 20 years. 8th house is all about secrets, all about new revelations, explosive news. Very dangerous times, actually. And Jupiter is in the nakshatra of Ardra. Ardra is known as a time of storm clouds. It's symbolized by the teardrop, that this is a very, very difficult time that the country is in right now. What comes to my mind is that a lot of these shootings and a lot of these things is a very unconscious problem that the country's having as a whole. There's a lot of problems that we have not addressed as a country. Gun violence is one of those problems. Economic inequality is one of those problems. Healthcare for everybody. There's a lot of these problems that we've just patched over in the past. Politicians have been telling us, oh, we just need to lower taxes. We just need to have this Affordable Care Act. We just need to do. They've just been putting little patches on these really big problems that are underneath. The 8th house really makes me think of, it's like if your body has a disease and it's really deep within the body, but you're just doing little minor fixes on the body and not really fixing the problem. So because we're in Jupiter, and Jupiter is the planet of expansion, I'm just seeing an increase of these problems, an increase of the manifestation of that this country hasn't really healed a lot of the things. There's a lot of dark things in the past. I mean, to me, it's amazing to even think that slavery existed 150 years ago in this country. We actually enslaved people. And that healing from all of that has never really been fully healed. It's never been fully addressed. And a lot of people are getting angry saying, well, why should people be mad about that? We can't deal with that because that happened 150 years ago. But you got to remember, as a mass consciousness, this is still very recent in the collective consciousness, that there's a lot of horrible things that we never have fully healed. The 8th house can deal with healing as well. So deep rebirth, deep healing. So we're going to keep seeing these instances of these random acts of violence and different things until we addressed the problems deep down within us and heal these problems and really do an investigation of how to address these really in-depth problems. And that's what I told you guys in the Andrew Yang video. What we really got to get to as a country is, what do we want as a society? Do you have to accept the status quo because that's the status quo that's been going on for decades? Or is this the time where we can really say, hey, wait. Let's stop this train right now. We really need to have a better system that's more inclusive, that brings abundance for everybody, that's more healing, and that's less focused on the material things that we're being told that we need to do in this country. I can remember when September 11th happened, and it was that same week that George W. Bush got up on the television and told Americans to go shopping. Is that really the type of values we want as a country? You are just mindless consumers, and you need to just go shopping so we can get the economy going and we can get the stock market up. It's really a time to wake up about what is the soul of this country. What is the soul of this people? That's my message for you guys today. It's a very important election season that we're entering. We really have to come and really think about what is our best path for the highest good for everyone. Not just a few people, not just a certain group, but for everyone as a society. So we can all live our individual dharmas. We can all enter this new age what's coming since 2012. We entered the age of Aquarius. So we're in this transition time where we're still having a lot of that old Pisces energy is still playing up big problems when we used to be ruled by the patriarchy. And so those problems are still rearing its ugly head, and unless we address it, we will not see any significant change. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and please subscribe to my channel. If you're interested in a private reading, please email me at thor.sandalwood@gmail.com, and I will send you information regarding that. And bye-bye.